Hi, I'm Dr. Jeremy from Little Sprouts Chiropractic. My wife and I founded Little Sprouts. I often get this question. I hear that you guys deal with retained neonatal reflexes or retained primitive reflexes, and most people want to know what they are and what they do. I'm going to create a very short video just to explain what this is. We do have a longer presentation on this. If you're interested, make sure you contact our practice to find out more. But a retained neonatal reflex is literally a reflex that should have integrated and disappeared. As we're born, we need reflexes just like animals do on how to feed and to navigate our way through life and to develop our brain. But if these reflexes don't integrate and disappear, it can create quite a lot of issues. Let me give you an example. What's a reflex? Well, a reflex is a little bit like a deep tendon reflex. You tap the body, you have no control of that, it just happens. It's in order to protect. The muscle there thinks it's been stretched too far, so it pulls back the other way to protect itself. So it's like if we touch the hot stove, we pull our hand away before we even know that the heat's there. That's what a reflex is. It's an autonomic function of your body. So some retained neonatal reflexes, well, let's talk about that now. So there's a reflex called a morrow, where the baby's startled. But probably most people would have seen this if you've had babies, where they startle like this from a loud sound, a knock or a bump, a sudden movement, a gentle drop like that. I'll have a startle reflex. So the purpose of that reflex is to, number one, increase sympathetic activity so the baby screams out or cries and brings the mother or caregiver's attention. Then they'll wrap into a ball, the second part of the reflex, that's a protective response. They're really important. That reflex should integrate as you go through life, because we wouldn't want everyone to be startled like that all the time and to go into a sympathetic override. The common symptoms if that one is retained is things like anxiety, for example. Other things that you might see in a retained neonatal reflex is people won't like to shut your eyes, fall backwards and let me catch you. They won't let you do that at all. People with a retained reflex as well, if they're falling, they might go backwards instead of forwards, for example, which will be bad because you want to be able to put your hands out and catch yourself. So another reflex is the gallant reflex. Gallant reflex, if I've got a little baby, and this should integrate around about 3 months. If the baby's facing down, so you won't see this after 3 months on a baby if everything's going well, generally around that time. There is give and take on these reflexes and times for integration. So you'll see on the gallant reflex, when the baby's facing down to the ground, you scrape along the baby's back and I'll do a little U shape on one side. On the other side, same thing. Now that should integrate around about your 3 months, as I said. But if the gallant reflex is retained, these are the kids often that have very sensitive backs. They won't want to sit still on a chair, and we often call these kids the ants in the pants children. We all know these type of children. So why is the gallant reflex there? Well, as you're being born, as the child's being born, as it's coming through the birth canal, any pressure on one side helps the baby to come out. So these reflexes all serve a very, very important purpose. However, they're driven from the brainstem, and because the baby's brain has to increase so rapidly in size as we develop, as humans we can't have all our brain developed because we literally wouldn't be able to be born. So as our brain develops, the cortex develops, which is the newest part of our brain, it actually turns the primitive brain off or puts the brakes on, and that's literally how a reflex integrates. As the brain develops at a rapid enough rate, it'll turn that reflex off. So you can see that the reflexes are there to protect, but something else they do, and there's lots of these reflexes that we test for, but the reflexes also trigger the brain to go into the next developmental cascade. So very, very important that we see these reflexes are integrating at the appropriate times. And there is some nifty little things we can do to help these reflexes integrate. So if there's any other questions about reflexes, jump on our website, have a look. There's a whole section on there that you can go into this in much more detail. And look, if anyone's got any other questions, definitely email our practice, or you can ring the ladies as well. And I'll be sure, or one of our doctors will be sure to get back to you about that. We look forward, hopefully, if you've got any other questions and you want to take this further, to meeting you sometime soon in Little Sprouts Chiropractic. Have a great evening.